For more than 2 millennia, the name Socrates has been synonymous with philosophy, intellectual inquiry, and the pursuit of truth. Despite living in ancient Greece, his legacy has continued to influence and inspire generations of thinkers, from Plato and Aristotle to Nietzsche and beyond. From his timeless philosophy to his iconic method of questioning, Socrates remains one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures in human history. Socrates believed that the pursuit of truth was the highest aim of human existence, and he famously declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. His commitment to intellectual honesty and his willingness to challenge conventional wisdom continue to inspire people today. Socrates was born in Athens, Greece, around 470 BC. We don't have many records of his life, but what we know comes from the writings of Plato, Xenophon, and the plays of Aristophanes. Socrates is considered one of the founders of Western philosophy, and his teachings and ideas have had a profound influence on subsequent thinkers. He is perhaps best known for his method of questioning, which became known as the Socratic method. Socrates' parents were Sophroniskis, an Athenian stonemason and sculptor, and Phanerete, a midwife. Growing up in a family without noble status, Socrates likely received a modest education and began learning his father's craft at a young age. He worked as a mason for many years before eventually dedicating his life to philosophy. Socrates is considered one of the founders of Western philosophy, and his ideas have had a profound influence on the development of ethics, epistemology, and logic. He is best known for his method of questioning, which he used to challenge conventional wisdom and expose contradictions in people's beliefs. According to Plato, Socrates served in the armored infantry, known as the hoplite, with a shield, long spear, and face mask. He was known for his courage and fearlessness, traits that he carried throughout his life. Socrates fought in 3 battles during the Peloponnesian War and even saved the life of a well-known Athenian general named Alcibiades. Despite his bravery in battle, Socrates was known for his philosophical pursuits and questioning of traditional beliefs. He believed that wisdom came from self-examination and the pursuit of knowledge. According to the sources, Socrates was far from a handsome figure. In fact, he was considered to be profoundly ugly. He sported long, unruly hair in the Spartan style and made a habit of going barefoot and unwashed, carrying a stick and exuding an air of arrogance. He wasn't one for changing clothes, either. Instead, he simply wore whatever he had on from the night before. Despite his unkempt appearance, he was known for his intelligence and philosophical ideas, which attracted a following of students who were willing to overlook his appearance. Some even believed that his unconventional appearance was a deliberate rejection of societal norms. But it wasn't just Socrates' unconventional appearance that made him stand out, but also his relentless pursuit of knowledge. He engaged in deep conversations with anyone willing to listen, regardless of their background, examining their lives as well as his own. As he declared at his trial, the unexamined life is not worth living for a human being. This dedication to learning and introspection not only set him apart from his peers but also contributed to his philosophical beliefs, which emphasize the importance of self-awareness and critical thinking in leading a fulfilling life. His legacy as a philosopher continues to inspire people around the world to question their assumptions and strive for personal growth. Socrates tackled the most fundamental questions about human existence, including, what is piety, what is courage, what is love, and what is happiness? He probed and challenged those who claimed to have the answers until he found inconsistencies or paradoxes that revealed their ignorance. This approach to questioning is known as the Socratic method and forms the foundation of his philosophy. Socrates believed that true knowledge comes from recognizing one's own ignorance, and his method of questioning aimed to bring individuals to this realization. He believed that by questioning assumptions and beliefs, individuals could arrive at a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. Plato's Apology tells how the Delphic oracle proclaimed Socrates the wisest person on earth. Skeptical, Socrates questioned people thought to be wise, hoping to disprove the oracle's claim. Surprisingly, he found that those he encountered knew very little, and their declarations of wisdom were empty. Socrates concluded he was the wisest man because he recognized his own ignorance. As he famously declared, "I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing." Socrates believed that true wisdom came from acknowledging one's own ignorance and constantly seeking knowledge. He spent his life questioning and challenging others to think critically, in order to uncover the truth. In 5th century Athens, success was measured by fame, wealth, honors, and political power. But Socrates rejected these societal norms. He neither labored to earn a living nor engaged in politics. Instead, he embraced poverty and devoted himself to questioning and examining the lives of others. Although he inspired the youth of Athens, Socrates was quick to deny any claim of being a teacher and refused to accept money for it. Socrates believed that true wisdom came from admitting one's own ignorance and questioning everything, which often put him at odds with the authorities of his time. Despite his lack of wealth or political power, he left a lasting legacy as one of the most influential philosophers in history. He quickly gained a following of young men who abandoned their previous aspirations to pursue philosophy. Notable figures among them founded their own schools of thought, such as Antisthenes of Athens, Cynic school, Aristippus of Cyrene, Cyrenaic school, and Xenophon, influenced Zeno of Citium, founder of the Stoic school. Plato, perhaps the most famous of his followers, would go on to become one of the most influential philosophers of all time. Plato's philosophy focused on the existence of an objective reality and the concept of ideal forms, which greatly influenced Western philosophy. His most famous work, The Republic, discusses the nature of justice and the ideal society. In 399 BC, Socrates found himself in a tough spot. He was accused of corrupting the youth of Athens and of heresy, and he had to defend himself in court. But instead of just denying the charges against him, Socrates boldly declared that he was a gadfly, someone who questioned and challenged the status quo. In other words, he saw himself as a valuable member of society who was not afraid to speak his mind. Socrates believed that his role as a gadfly was essential to the betterment of society, and that he was fulfilling a divine mission by questioning authority. He saw himself as a philosopher who sought to awaken people from their intellectual slumber and encourage them to think critically about their beliefs and values. Despite his best efforts, Socrates was convicted by the jury with a vote of 280 to 221. Yet, as a citizen of Athens, he was entitled to propose an alternative punishment rather than the one suggested by the prosecution. In a bold move, Socrates proposed that he be granted recognition and compensation by the city for his significant contributions in educating and enlightening the people. Socrates' proposal was seen as arrogant by the jury, and he was ultimately sentenced to death by drinking hemlock. However, his legacy as a philosopher and teacher continues to influence Western thought to this day. Sadly, his proposal was not well received, and the jury sentenced him to death by drinking a poisonous potion made from hemlock. Socrates had a chance to escape, but he refused. He was not afraid of death and felt that he would be no better off in exile. He was a loyal citizen of Athens, willing to abide by its laws even if they condemned him to death. Socrates' commitment to his principles was unwavering, and he believed that death was preferable to compromising his beliefs. His legacy continues to inspire people to stand up for what they believe in, even in the face of adversity. In his final days, Socrates spent time with his friends before drinking the poison. As Plato chronicled, he appeared happy both in manner and words as he died nobly and without fear. Socrates remained bold and inspirational even in his death, and his life and legacy would be well examined for millennia to come. His unwavering commitment to truth and wisdom left a lasting impact on his students, including Plato, who would go on to become one of the most influential philosophers in history. Socrates' legacy also inspired countless others to pursue knowledge and question the status quo.